Ready? Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to Smitty's Corner. This is the first of what I hope to be a number of sessions. Today I have a very, very talented group of people here together, entrepreneurs that have more than 30, 40 years worth of experience in the hair care industry. Collectively, if we put everyone together there, we've been responsible for millions and millions of dollars distributed to the end user. We're going to keep in harmony with the theme of our morning session, which was Black Hair Care, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And our focus is going to be on what we can do as manufacturers to improve sales and distribution for the upcoming year, the importance of education, and et cetera. So what I'm going to do now is introduce the panel that we have here. To my left is Jerry and Lucky White, and they can speak up and tell us a little bit about what they do.
We are manufacturers of tools and equipment to the beauty industry. The company is Kazuri Iron Works. We're based in Gardena, California. We manufacture curling irons, flat irons, stoves, any type of equipment that the beauty salon would need. We have that to offer to them.
And I'm going to add on to that, we do private packaging. Some of us refer to private labeling. We do make all types of hair products, including the natural line.
Okay. And to the Whites left, we have Dr. Tony Leno, so we're going to introduce him right now.
Hey, I'm Dr. Tony Leno. I'm a trichologist. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means the study of chemistry in hair and skin, and I specialize in the ethnic area of that particular category. I'm also a manufacturer of liquid gold hair bonding products. This is a bonding glue for people who wear weaves and extensions. And I exclusively distribute all over the country and about a quarter of the world.
Okay, very good. We have over to Tony's left, Jock Adu. She's a naptician, hairstylist. So let's hear what Jock has to say.
Good afternoon. My name is Jacques Adu, and I am a 50-year veteran of natural hair. Apparently, bringing us all together here, I've used everyone's product here, and it's going to be a very, very interesting discussion.
Very good. And to Jock's left, we have Corinthian. I'm going to let you pronounce your last name for me. I struggle with that with your board products.
Yeah, Corinthian Agda.
Agda, yes.
Agda.
Okay.
Yes, we've been in business for about 35 years, and we have a product called Ubura Smoother Silk, and it's extended across California.
Yes.
And we do a little shipping out of state.
Okay.
And we service salons and beauty supplies.
Okay, and you're a family-run operation too.
Family.
Right? Yes. Okay. Well, there we go. We got our panelists introduced. We have one that we were anticipating being here, but we'll see what happens. For right now, we're going to enter right into the discussion, Black Hair Care yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And we're going to start off with a discussion centered around Annie Malone and Madam C.J. Walker. They were more or less the early entrepreneurs in our modern time with Black Hair Care. So we're going to let Dr. Tony Leno start off with the conversation in that area.
All right. Well, most people attribute the success of the black beauty industry, or even the beginning of it, with Madam Walker. And indeed, she was a very influential participant in this industry. But before her was a lady named Annie Malone out of St. Louis, Missouri, who actually started the whole thing. And Madam Walker was a student of hers and learned the craft from Annie Malone. And Madam Walker was able to take what she learned from Annie Malone and enterprise it into a very lucrative hair product business, starting with the pressing comb and with all the different products that are used in conjunction with the pressing comb. So Madam Walker is credited with being the genesis of the beauty industry, but it was really Madam Annie Malone who actually started it all.
Okay, very good. Now, the reason why I want to go back there, I wanted to paint a picture. We did it last time. We'll do it again. Let's imagine that time period when they were manufacturing, operating their businesses. Do you imagine that they had to deal with racism and discrimination?
I believe they did.
Yes. Okay. Do you imagine that they had problems trying to get financing to get their business going?
Yes.
And all of you can speak right up now if you.
Yeah, that's for sure. There's no
Okay.
doubt about that.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And do you imagine that they had to deal with crime and violence and everything else that took place in society?
Yes.
Yeah. See, so the reason why I'm saying that, we bring it forward. Do we have these conditions that we have to deal with right now?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. And in spite of what they had to deal with, those two in particular were millionaires, and they were philanthropists. So it shows you that despite all the odds around you, there is an opportunity to make our businesses work. And one of the areas where we have a lot of discussion nowadays is with the fact that the Koreans control the channel of distribution of products. And it's caused a lot of dialogue throughout the industry. And so we're going to focus in on a very popular YouTube video that's centered around the hair care business. And so I'm going to ask Chris now to start that tape, and we can take a look at it, and then we'll dissect it and we'll talk about it as it is aired.
African American women spend billions every year on black hair products. Even though they only make up 10% of the American population, they buy 70% of all wigs and extensions purchased here in the United States.
Okay, so the statement started off, as you know, with the Afro-Americans spending millions of dollars on black hair care. There's an article that I shared with us in the morning session that it says that black hair care for 2015 has the potential of doing $500 billion. Now, we question that figure, but it was inclusive of general market and so forth. But yet, the question I have for all of us, are we getting our fair share of that dollar amount that's talked about? And what would you say?
No, we're not getting our fair share.
Okay.
I can agree with that, because what's happening now in the industry is that the distributors won't buy all of your product. We seem to have a good line of products, but they buy in parts.
Yes.
And that's not good for me. Okay. And they have an excuse for it.
All right. Well, again, those are problems that we are currently experiencing. Now, the debate there might be they're not taking all our products in because there's not a demand for it. But we're going to see in this documentary that that is a problem that has been expressed going back many, many years. And so the question is that a true statement or not? So let's see how we develop. And we'll continue to look at the documentary, and we'll continue to analyze it. So let's just take a second now.
Section the hair into...
We think the African American style is a very big business.
Almost every week they change the style for hair.
Everybody wants to be a part of our market because we're the #1 consumer. We spend 10 to 1 on anybody in hair. In the retail market right now...
Here again, we have the Koreans acknowledging that the black hair care industry is a very, very popular business in terms of dollars being made. And it sets the stage for us as manufacturers to ask ourselves, what can we do to make sure that we, again, are getting our fair share of the distribution and the dollars that are being made? So I'll open that up to a discussion for a second there.
Okay, I'd like to respond to that.
Yes.
Is that we as black Americans, we represent about 12% of the population in this country. And yet we are responsible for over 1/3 of all hair care products and professional services, means beauty and barbershops, in this country.
Yes.
And when I say that 12%, actually about 8% of that is are women who actually buy it. Men don't buy very many products. So most of these products are only being consumed, that 1/3% is being consumed by only about 7 or 8% of the population of black Americans.
Okay. It's interesting you say that. I met a cosmetology instructor Friday, and she indicated to me that the barbers are getting more and more into purchasing the products. Now, my experience has always been that barbers buy products in their retail. They're not as good with it as the hairstylists. It seems like they're kind of tighter with their dollar. But barbers do invest in products to resell. But generally speaking, I agree with what you're saying.
Even at the point of buying the hair care products,
yes.
Now we've seen that the Koreans have cornered the market on it. I'm looking at the part where we ourselves as manufacturers, distributors, are distributing to our community. But to do that, does that mean we have to outmarket the Koreans?
Okay, that's a very good question, a valid question. Anyone have any comments about that?
Well, there's not a matter of marketing, because what they do is actually distribute the hair care products to the beauty supply stores, most of whom are owned by Koreans.
Yes.
And so they actually control 80% of ethnic hair care products, regardless of who the manufacturer is, to the black community.
Okay.
And yet they're only 1/3 of the population in this country.
Okay. Now, we're going to look at another clip from that excerpt from that documentary, and it's going to focus on their resolve. When I say their, I'm referring to the Korean-owned manufacturers and wholesale distributors, beauty supply stores. And we're going to look at some of the mediums that they use to communicate among themselves. Now, I feel that that's the problem overall, that we need to communicate better between the wholesale distributors and us as manufacturers. Now, we had a debate about that, and some feel that that's a dead idea, but I still seem to believe that if we communicate what it is that we need, and then we do the proper marketing and the proper sales efforts behind it, we'll see the desired results. But let's look at that next clip there. You have that ready for us, Chris? Okay.
What you're looking at is one of the Black Beauty Supply magazines that inform people who are interested in black hair products. All the ads and articles are about African Americans and their hair. And even though all the information is about blacks, half of this magazine is in Korean. And this magazine, Beauty Times, which is the #1 publication for black beauty store owners, is written entirely in Korean. It's here, inside Beauty Times, that I spot Dr. Tony Leno, a black hair expert who writes a monthly column for this magazine. A column which not even he can read. I contacted...
Okay, so there we have it. We see that the Koreans use a trade publication that they circulate among themselves to communicate what products are available to them, and it shows that they're organized, and that's part of what I feel is lacking sometimes among us black manufacturers. Now, they showed the Beauty Time magazine. I just want to show you. I have a copy of one right here, and I want to show you that I actually have run an ad in this particular magazine. And what does that mean? It should mean that the Koreans that read the magazine are aware of the Secret Styling brand of products. So, again, I'm trying to paint a picture that, you know, my company, for one, has been trying to do the things necessary to get full distribution. But I want to open up that dialogue to the rest of you. Anyone have anything to say in terms of what we just witnessed there?
Well, what I found out in traveling through the community at different beauty supply houses.
Yes.
When you go in to check your shelving to see how your product is doing, they might say, well, we don't have that product, it's not in the book. They go get the book.
Yes.
They bring out the book and they turn the pages, and the product's not in there.
Right.
Yet they have the product. So how can they order when they open the book if your product is not in the book?
Yes.
Sometimes they say, well, they say you're out of business. They don't make that product no more. And that seems to be the thing in a lot of the different places that I've visited.
Okay. Now, again, I'm just going to show this just for a reference point. This was an ad that I ran in one of Beauty Time magazine. This is one issue. This is a second issue. And I actually have a third one, which I'll pull up later if I can't draw it up. But the point is this. I ran those ads, and I created some demand, and yet they didn't have all the products in the distribution network. Now, normally when you run ads and you create a demand, those products should be available. This is the other ad that I ran. And I tagged a particular distributor on those particular products. But my point is this. Again, you're doing the necessary things that should justify you getting full distribution, but yet you're not getting the results. Now, in my case, I talked to one of the receptionists that handles the phone calls in for orders, and he said he just tells them that they don't carry those products.
Exactly.
Now, see, that's wrong. You know,
Exactly.
I did some mathematics. In one distributor, if they were to do, they claim they had like 300 stores. If they were to buy 10 dozen of my products, and I priced it at $48 a dozen, and you were to put in full distribution, that's $144,000. So see, it comes down to economics also. Now the question is, are they consciously making that decision to prohibit me from making that $144,000, or is there a communication problem? So anyone else want to have some dialogue on that? If not, we can go to the next excerpt.
Well, let me make
Sure.
my point, and that is our product has been duplicated, so they will not carry our product, but they would also replace it with one of their own kind that maybe they brought in from China. So that is my situation.
Okay.
Also along that same line is that they're duplicating the product in appearance only, not in quality, and that's a very important point here.
Okay, we're gonna focus in on Kazuri products in particular. We're gonna see it in a little bit, just how that happened, that they were duplicating some of the products. What we're gonna do now is look at another excerpt. It's gonna talk about the percentage of black consumers catering to the business.
In your store here, what percentage of your business is Afro-American?
About 100%. 99.9.
Okay. In other words, 99.9%.
99.9. Okay.
Okay. So you see that there was a happy conversation expressed there with Dr. Leno and the Korean beauty supply owner, and they're acknowledging that 99% of their customers are Afro-American. So here's some of the dialogue that we had. Why try and undo the distribution network that's set in place? Why not use it to the fullest? And I know that's an argument. Some of the manufacturers saying, well, we need to set up our own distribution network. And I really raised the question, why are we up in arms about it? When I came into the industry, the channel of distribution was controlled by Jews. And there were a couple of white wholesale distributors, one in Oklahoma, and then was it Sam Walton or Walman up in
Florida.
Florida, yeah. So in terms of the major distribution networks, there were a handful of small black-owned distributors like Blankenship and can you think of some other ones?
Miller's and Sons.
Miller and Sons. But the real game players, Ben Shefdahl and Beauty Enterprise, etc., those were like Jewish-owned operations. So we've always had to work with the existing network. So I raised that same issue. The Koreans are solidly in place, and we're going to see their resolve to stay in place. From an excerpt from one of these video clips. As a matter of fact, why don't you play the next one there, Chris?
Well, you're looking at
How you
a
doing,
typical
Frank?
beauty supply store, Korean-owned beauty supply store, but all these products have one common denominator. They are all aimed at the Afro community. One of the things that the Koreans are doing now, and they predicted this themselves back in 1999, and it's happening now, since they control 80% of the distribution of Afro hair care products, especially professional products that are sold in beauty supply stores only, it only stands to reason they can control what gets distributed. They are creating their own line of products or buying out existing black-owned companies. I don't see a reversal of this at all. It's just getting deeper and deeper.
Okay, now if you look at Mr. Leno's comment there, he's acknowledging the current situation. You want to elaborate on that some, Tony?
Yes. Well, when that clip was done, it was in 2004, so it was some time back, almost 10 years ago when that clip was done. But here it is 10 years later, and it's proving to be true. Only now, other manufacturers, Caucasian and offshore companies, four of the largest, best-known Afro hair care products on the market are not owned by Black, Koreans, or anybody in the state. It's owned offshore.
Okay. You know, speaking of, and you can speak into the mic, Frank, anytime.
I can?
Ready. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta bring me up to date quickly.
We're following the same format we originally had, and
Okay.
we're talking about black hair care. So right now, what we're doing, we're actually taking excerpts from the documentary regarding black hair care, and we're dissecting it and then offering our input.
Can I interject something real quick?
Feel
And I don't
free
know
to
how
do so.
far what I missed, but I'm always an eternal optimist. I hear what we can't do or what is in place. During that time when the Jews had control of the market, yes, but we still had distribution. They were in control. The Koreans are in control now. But I say, and like I said, I'm always an eternal optimist, meaning that why do I let somebody take over my house and then you're telling me I can't purchase or get another house? No, I'm not going to agree with that. I say we just have to do another plan of attack, which means that, yes, we can use the same distribution channels until, but don't, I don't want to be on the table to say we're giving up. Okay.
Yeah, I can respect that. And again, those are the debates that take place. But my position is that the Koreans are in place. I want full distribution. We have some pictures that we'll show toward the end of this session. And I'm going to more or less talk about one particular line that sets the standard. And based on that standard, that should be all of our goals as companies to get our products in distribution, while individuals such as Frank and those who feel the way you feel work on those game plans. And there's some great game plans out there. I've talked to different members of associations and so forth, and they do have strategies, and we'll just have to wait and see them implemented in due time. But right now, we're going to take another excerpt from the video there. And notice, again, how we're talking about the controlled distribution, and we're going to see how the Koreans position themselves to do just that.
With the Koreans controlling the retail and wholesale distribution, they're slowly making inroads into taking over the black manufacturers.
Okay, so right away we see that one of their stated goals is to take over the distribution, and also to assume black companies, black-owned companies. So as a business model, there's nothing wrong with them having that strategy. They have a right. This is America. This is capitalism. They have a right to do so. Anyone have any comments about that?
We need to look at a strategy is to keep our product out there. And I find it very necessary that we need to go to the end user and let them know, look, this is happening and we need your support. And that is what I did. Whenever I would want to talk to a stylist or even a non-stylist, I said, I need your support. I'm having difficulty getting my product into the marketplace, so I need your support. And they have supported us, so that's why we're still here, because we have their support.
Yes, very good.
In terms of the support that you get from the stylist at the other end, we would prefer to deal with the black-owned hair care products, the black-owned manufacturers. We would prefer, because we know that when we go to the others, we may not find our product there, number one. And number two is distribution. It's not just distribution from a brick and mortar, but as each one of your distributors come into the salon, not only we need education. Yes. The information is great, but if we don't know how to use your product, how to distribute your product, we don't know, we won't use it. But what I do know, once we know, that this is the product we need to be using, we will use it and support you.
Okay, very good. Yes, Frank.
No, just again, Walt. You know, I hear you saying very quietly that, in matter of fact, in the video it said they're taking over.
Yes.
Taking over.
Yes.
Well, if they're taking over the distribution and the manufacturing, what does the future hold for us as black manufacturers? That doesn't look too well for me. So I agree the distribution channels that are in place right now, hey, fine, work with them. But, and again, there's a lot of strategies around, but when? Yes. When are we going to stop and turn around to say it's time to stop it and where it is? Now, how to do that, that's another discussion.
Yeah. Go ahead, Corinthian.
I'm wondering if we could get a distributorship of our own. Say, for instance, Mr. White, you, maybe 10 others, I don't know. Warehouse it. Get us a warehouse up. But between 10 of us, we can get a warehouse big enough and have the distributorships come to us like we have to go to them. I mean, it's just an idea. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
Well, this is exactly what the Koreans did when they came over here back in the 60s.
Yes.
They came over here basically because of unrest in their own country with North Korea. And they looked around and found out what could they do. And so that's exactly what they did.
Yes.
And they didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
They took a market that was underserved, which is the ethnic hair care market and product market, which was very underserved back then.
Yes.
And now it's overserved.
Yes.
By them.
So saying what you said, they saw the niche, and they took advantage of it. And that's what business people do. You look for niches and you take advantage of it. Now, I'm just going to use it just as for the sake of discussion. I saw a niche. I saw a need to put on an event to gather manufacturers and stylists. And I'm only referring to the local market because there's others that are doing just what we're talking about right now. So it's not like it's a new idea. But I did get us together. And now we have this dialogue taking place. So it can be developed, and the various things that you all are talking about can be implemented. But again, it will never be implemented unless we get some doers. We can sit and we can do all this talking. I was a member of ABBA. When I say a member, company was the member of ABBA, and I used to go to those meetings. And my perspective was it was a great social club. It was a feel-good session. But they failed to take advantage of all the resources that they had. We wouldn't be sitting here right now talking the way we're talking if they had used the resources properly, because that niche was available. It was there for us to take advantage of, and we failed to do so. So again, my argument is that I want full distribution. I'm doing the things that are necessary to get my products in all the stores. And the question is, am I being discriminated against, or do I need to tighten up my belt some more and put my pencils together, do a lot more praying, and work a little bit harder to get my complete line in distribution? And that's my goal for 2015.
Well,
yes, Frank.
Let's make the assumption that what you just said is true.
Yes.
You're being isolated, discriminated, whatever way you want to put it. Then what is your objective? To keep pushing money through your marketing and sales when the strategy is to eliminate, to get you out of the market, period. So what kind of strategy would you say, even the ones that are coming into the market on the manufacturing side? As I say, and we've talked many times to people in this room, after we're going out of the market, and in this room right now, you got over 100 years of experience.
Yes.
So what happens when we leave and our grandchildren, our children or grandchildren try to intervene or come into the marketplace with the same problems or even worse than what we're having today? So what's the answer? I know that's a cute transition to say, hey, let's work with the distribution channels now. Yes, true. But when they are inevitably trying to eliminate us out of the market, then what do we do?
Well, what I enjoy, if someone else wants to speak up right now, feel free.
Okay. I would like to suggest that we get a grassroots campaign and make sure we get all this information to our consumers.
Yes.
Because we have no channel of distribution. We have no channel of communication. So all that is missing. We got to bring that back. Even if we have to go door to door, salon to salon, we got to let people know what we are striving to do. And it's a must because we got to save our children. We need to have jobs for our children. Just like we were earlier talking about jobs, we need to be creators of jobs. We can't let people push us out of business. We are strong. Black men are strong. They strong-minded, strong-willed. We just have to. Our women got to push you, get you out there. We got to let people know that we got to support them. Okay.
Okay. So what I heard right there is a need for organization and communication.
Okay.
Yeah, those are basic ingredients to be successful in business. You have to be organized, and you have to communicate what it is that you're trying to sell, be it goods or services or an idea. You have to have an organized approach to it. Do you happen to have that commercial queued up? Because I want to take a little break. Just would you cue that up, and we'll do that in a minute. So again, one of the assets that we have, Frank, that no one else has is that we're the creators. You know, look at what has happened with the natural hairstyle. You know, we could sit back and laugh about it. We know back in the 80s, the natural hairstyle was popular then. Mm-hmm. But right now, there's a phenomenon with the natural hairstyle, and the Koreans, as the distributors, are benefiting from it, but they can only benefit from what we create. And that category was created with who are the ladies that put together their products? What's the name of it? Help me out here, someone. Yeah, speak up, everyone.
Mixed
yeah, come on now, don't be bashful. This is a show where we got to talk.
Well, I want to say that
yes,
I would like for Ms. White to head up what she just said.
Yes.
And get the ball rolling, because I know that she had a great following, and most of the beauticians listen. They will follow. So I like to nominate my wife to head up what she knows that will work.
Okay. So
can I second that?
Okay. So there you have a game plan in place.
Even with that, I look among all of us. We are multimillionaires in here. And we would not have gone in business and been successful if we didn't know within ourselves that we could handle this whole situation. Even if we do have a warehouse and make our own distribution, educate our stylists, educate our consumer, because that's what they did. We can duplicate the same and be even more successful because we are the grassroots.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now and let the sponsor get his plug in.
What's your style? Curly, straight, wavy, or maybe you like it natural? Introducing Secret Styling Hair Care Products by Smith Products Company, LLC. A complete line of hair moisturizers, shampoos, conditioners, and an assortment of other hair styling aids formulated for today's fashion-conscious consumer. Enhance your style. Get the secret.
Okay, so we're going to continue dissecting that documentary, and we're going to move on now to the next segment.
They are a black-owned manufacturer of hair care products, but specialize primarily in curling irons, pressing combs, and the stove heaters that you heat the irons up in.
Okay, so here's our introduction into Kazuri products, and Ms. White here played a very prominent role in that particular documentary there. She had a lot to say about what was happening to her company. And I appreciate the spirit in which you shared your viewpoint there on that particular documentary. So as you reflect back now, that was in what, 2004? Mm-hmm. How do you feel? Have you made great progress since then, or are we still stagnant, or what do you see happening?
I see that we have to be more aggressive in the marketplace. We have to contact our supporters. When I mean supporters, I mean consumers and also stylists. It's important to let them know what's going on. And if they knew what was going on, they wouldn't run down to the corner beauty supply to buy their supplies. It is important that we support our community. We just can't walk away. We got to support our community, and we got to support the industry, let people know.
Okay.
Now, I find that we are the creators, and they are duplicators.
Okay. Very good.
Ms. Smith, I'd like to say that I've worked in so many other salons throughout the city of Los Angeles, and your stove is on every station that I have seen. We love the product. We recommend the product.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll second that.
For your support.
Going in and out of the salons, that's all I see are Kazuri ovens and styling tools being used. Now we're going to look at some more excerpts from the documentary. Let's see what it has to say.
This is Lucky White, who owns Kazuri along with her husband.
We have been in business for over 30 years, and we are a black company selling to black beauty supplies and also to black hairstylists, and we make a quality product. Everyone look at our product as being the best in the industry. However, since the agents have been here, they are cutting us out, telling us that our product is not in demand any longer.
Okay, so you notice that Mrs. White there ended her discussion by saying that she's being told by the distributors, and that's what you were talking about earlier, Corinthian, that her products are not selling. And I've been told that also. Yeah. So that's a standard reply. Now, what's interesting about it, and we're going to see just from looking at the documentary here, we have on tape stylists testifying to the use of Kazuri products. Mm-hmm. But I call on salons, and I know who are buying products from me, and I know that I have a number of hairstylists that are using the products. But again, I still would take the position of I'm not going to allow the hand that's feeding my face to bite it off. What's that expression? We talked about it last time around. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is that we have several local Korean beauty supply store owners that are very, very nice folks. And they take our products in, they purchase, they pay cash, and they provide a needed service in the community. So I don't want to paint the picture that it's us versus them. There is concern, though, about getting proper shelf space and getting full distribution. And from my standpoint, that's the area that I want to tackle for 2015. And I agree with Ms. White. You have to do that grassroots approach, work with the stylists, participate in the trade shows, do education, get your sales force out there. All those things are necessary in order to have successful distribution. And if you're not getting that distribution, then here again, that question arises. Why is that the case? Are we being discriminated against, or what is the issue? We're going to see the resolve of some of the Korean leaders in some of the other excerpts there. So let's look at the next one there, Chris.
In connection. About 3 years ago, they started to blacklist our product. As they brought their own products in, they started to manufacture curling irons, and they duplicate everything that you manufacture. They would duplicate it, and then they start to slowly cut back on orders, and then they tell you that your product is not in demand. So they would make something that's very similar that looked like ours, and then they try and sell the consumer on this product.
Can you show me some products from Kazuri?
Kazuri?
Kazuri products.
This is Kazuri product. This
is all Kazuri.
Pop. This is A1.
So you have maybe 3 Kazuris, and then the rest.
This Kazuri, this A1 product, this Stella.
Stella.
Yeah.
Who makes
3 brands.
Who makes Stella?
You know, they are resale the wholesalers.
And they make this product.
Actually, they make a copy, you know, for the other brand, you know, like Kazuri, like A plus, but their brands, you know, they are no good quality.
Not good quality.
No.
Okay, so there we have it. A live interview by Dr. Leno, and you have that distributor saying what, Tony?
He's saying that something was mentioned earlier, that they duplicate the appearance of the quality products with Kazuri, yes, but they're not the same. Kazuri are solid brass pressing combs, whereby the others are only brass plated scrap iron.
Right. Now, I don't know if you remember, but the last time we had that discussion, in my mind, they are liable because they have created an imitation brand, and they have hurt your business. Mm-hmm. So, you know, why you choose to, you know, and that's your prerogative to not pursue it or legally, you know, that's the issue. But when someone duplicates your product and they cause harm to your business, that's a lawsuit. You know, so those are approaches that are available to us, legal approaches, when we see some harm being done within the industry. Anyone have any other comment? Don't get quiet on me, Frank, over there. All right.
No, no, not at this point.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, we're going to go to the next excerpt there.
They're telling you they will no longer distribute your product in these stores?
They tell us that our product is not in demand any longer, but that's just an excuse not to purchase our products.
This is actually a T-bumper by Kazuri. I use it all the time.
This is the place to be, a black hair salon in San Jose, California.
Kazuri products are much in demand. We use them here. We have a setup here. We also have one here. We use their spritz as well. We use their whole lineup, so they are in high demand.
So again, we have a testimony right there on the documentary of stylists using the Kazuri brand products. And I'm sure that you all, as owners of the company, could testify that you have stylists like that all over the United States and internationally.
Absolutely.
So there's no truth to the fact that your products are not selling. The question is, why isn't it in full distribution? Again, that's my issue with the industry right now. You know, we're doing the proper things to earn full distribution. So why is it not happening? You know, that question is what stays in my mind.
One answer.
Yes.
We do not control the distribution. And that's something we have to overcome. Whether it's going to be by internet, Facebook, or whatever, we're going to have to control the distribution. That's the only way we're going to reach our customers.
Okay. Now, I hear you saying that. And again, I go back to history. Before the Koreans came in, the Jews controlled distribution, and we had distribution.
But it was a fair playing field.
Okay, so
now
now we're getting to the point there again. Are you saying that the Koreans are not fair?
That's absolutely not fair.
Okay, see, so that needs to be addressed. Go ahead, Frank.
Well, I mean, it's quite obvious, Mr. and Mrs. White there. I mean, it's on video. It's said, you know, it is being stated.
Yes.
And so what's more obvious than the facts?
Right.
I mean, you know, they've been around 30 years.
Yes.
I mean, and the only reason that it's still strong is because the young lady, the stylist over here, is saying that it's a Rolls Royce.
Yes.
And it is a Rolls Royce. So that's what is impacting and continuing its position in the marketplace. That's the only thing that's keeping it going.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, you know, and what about you yourself?
Yes.
Or I, or whomever.
Yes.
You're trying to figure out what is going on when there is a good example with Kazuri products right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that is all of it in a nutshell.
Now, I related in our last session an experience. There's a supply store in Carson. They changed ownership, and at one time I had maybe 15 or 20 items, SKUs, stock keeping units, on the shelves in that store. When they changed ownership, the guy was kind of a sour type guy, and my line went from about 15 to 20 SKUs down to about 3 or 4. And part of the problem, I will acknowledge, was my problem. I ran into some problems with manufacturing, and I didn't always have the products available. But once I got my act together in that area there and tried to get back in full distribution, I didn't get all the items in. Now, the point I'm trying to make is we have a new ownership there, and he started out, as was mentioned earlier, looking at his printout. And according to his printout, there's no demand for the product. You know, only a few units are turning. As I pointed out, what's not showed on that printout are the number of customers that come in the store asking for the product, and they turn them down. So they can't measure that. And there's that connection problem and of communication. And I kind of laughed. There was an article that was shared among us about a Korean that went to American Bank, and he attempted to get a loan, and he was frustrated because of the communication gap between the American banker and him as a Korean businessman. And the funny thing is that he ended up going back to a Korean bank, and he got the loan that he needed. But the emphasis that I want to focus on is communication. We have to communicate what it is that we want. And right now, we want full distribution, and we want a good representation of shelf space. And so that's my position for now. And all the other issues that you're talking about is fine, but that's what I'm after in 2015.
Wait.
Go ahead.
No, I just say quickly. How deep is your pockets? Well,
you know.
So if you got a lot of money,
yes,
to push it out there,
yes,
and they feel that you get a return on investment, then they'll give you what you want. You know, I mean, if you push it out there like some of the major companies out there,
right,
hey, they'll give you that avenue. But a regional company, it's very tough.
Okay, but what I'm talking about, Frank, is regional. I want full regional distribution.
Well,
that's what I'm talking about. Like I said,
yes.
Cygnus has 300 stores they service or more, 400. Yeah, let me get in those 400 stores. As I pointed out earlier, just before you came in, imagine if I had 10 items that sell for $48 a piece, a dozen, in those 300 stores. That's $144,000.
I'm going to be the advocate. I ain't going to even say the other word.
No, go ahead. Yeah, that's right. Don't bring him in here now. We're doing good.
But what? Yes, go ahead.
But speaking on that, I did a survey myself going out to different stores,
yes,
just to see what they had on the shelf.
Yes,
and they told me, a lot of them said to me that, oh, we thought you was out of business,
yes,
or the product doesn't sell anymore.
Right.
I said, how you going to sell it if you don't have it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You have a 50-50 chance of your product selling if it's on the shelves.
Yes.
So that's the battle again, locally, regionally. Go ahead, Frank.
No, just quickly, and Tony well knows, they even come in Beauty Times and nationally and regionally say which products are hot.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that's the issue. It's how deep your pockets are to get on that shelf.
That plays a very important role, but it's not the only.
I hear you. I hear you. So what is the proof in the pudding? When you're going through, I'm the buyer, and you're coming in telling me, well, I want full distribution. And I'm saying, okay, who's going to pay for that shelf space?
Okay, just as I stated, you missed it, but I put on a display, and I'm going to wrap the show up with a display of the things that I've done as an individual, as a company, to get my products on the shelf and get the fair shelf space. And what has happened is, like I indicated, you do the proper advertisement, a client calls in for the product, and instead of the store saying, okay, we have a demand for the product, they tell them, well, we don't carry the product.
We don't
so see, again now, am I being discriminated right at that point, or is it just communication?
Well, I've heard you say that so many times today.
It's true, though.
And that scale is going over here about discrimination.
Yeah,
it's getting heavier and heavier on that side of discrimination now. You better help me out so I won't think that way.
Well, see, Frank, right now, you don't have a vested interest in this local market.
Why not?
You're not in it. Your interest is international.
But I'm a black manufacturer.
I agree with you for that standpoint. So if we take a united stand and let's just hypothetically, let's take Kazuri products, Leno products, let's take Corinthians products, let's take your products, let's take my products, and let's go to Mr. Distributor and say we want full distribution.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we want full distribution.
I'd like to see.
And then we're going to back it up. Let me finish. We're going to back it up with local advertisement. We're going to back it up with classes, doing demonstrations at the trade shows. We're going to back it up with putting merchandisers inside the stores to help move the products. We're going to back it up with sampling the products. Those are all the necessary ingredients to have a successful line. No one can tell me different. I experienced it with your company. And I watched us make millions and millions of dollars. So the formula hasn't changed. The problem is, are we being discriminated against, or is it a matter of, as you're talking about, the dollars and doing the proper things to make it happen?
Can I regress back way back when we did that on the retail side, going to some of the majors during that time of the Jewish control, and we went down into a major player with that same attitude and interest.
Yes.
And they gave us a lunch and told us goodbye.
Yes.
So I'll let you. Now you can answer.
Yeah. But again, I shot those figures out there. I remember when I started with you, we were doing $4,000 a month. When we left, we was doing 2.5 to $3 million a month. Now, how much do you want? That's a pretty good share. And I'm saying
I want a lot. I want more than that.
Well, I'm not saying I want that. I got my game plan as a individual entrepreneur. I'm sure you have your game plan. We all have our game plan. But again, my battle is, my efforts are to try and get full distribution. I'm saying for all of these companies right here, that should be one of the goals. Now, on a national level, that's a whole nother ballgame. But generally speaking, if you get distribution in the LA market going, what's going to happen nationally, generally speaking?
One of the things that that makes a successful products back in the 50s and 60s is that most of the proprietors of the stores, the people who actually own the grassroots stores,
yes,
they were consumers of the products that they sell.
A lot of them were Afro-American.
That's right.
Consumers.
The Koreans are not consumers of any of the products, rather made by a black company or a white company. They are not consumers of the products. Therefore, they can't recommend something based on their own experience.
Okay.
And also, too quickly,
yes,
Walt, I'm not, and I know this is way off on a tangent,
yes,
and nor do they take their money and put it in our banks.
I understand that.
Whoops.
I agree with that. That's a true statement. Let's move on to, I want to cover a couple more points on a documentary here, so let's take a look at some more excerpts. And this is showing the resolve that the Koreans have to control distribution, maintain
to start up these beauty supply stores. To find out, I traveled to the University of California at Berkeley and spoke with Professor John Lee.
Many of the ones that started recently came from South Korea that was much more enriched. So by selling their farm or by selling their apartment, they could have this initial pot of money to start relatively small businesses in urban areas. Furthermore, they had encouragement, sometimes quite explicitly in terms of funding by relatives, friends, and other sorts of religious or whatnot networks to provide them with money to start their business. So it's fair to say that there are all sorts of formal and informal means by which Korean Americans and South Korean business people dominate the market and are implicitly unwilling to let competition challenge their dominance.
Okay, see the resolve he had? He said unwilling to let competition challenge their resolve. Now, before we get going, I want you to, do you have the next segment? Cue that up. Let's get that going too, because we're running out of time. I want to get that in. Let's just take a look
they're
at it.
all in Korean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does that seem like fair business practice?
Yeah, well, as I said before, this is one of the mechanisms by which South Koreans and Korean American merchants ensure the domination of the market.
It's OTC.
Okay, again, he used the expression dominate the market. That's their goal. So what is our goal? You know,
dominate the market.
Okay, that's one expression.
Networking.
Right. Networking.
Education.
Education.
And support one another.
Okay. Yeah. And again, I stated I want my products in full distribution, and I want the full shelf space that's available that I earn. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to put forth the right effort in terms of sales and marketing activities, and I expect to get the distribution. And I'm saying that I'm not willing to call it quits on that understanding just yet.
And if you don't,
go ahead.
If you don't get that cooperation, what are your next game plan?
I've been surviving in spite of that. So it's not like I'm not surviving.
Well, we don't want to just survive. Yeah. We want to live abundantly, as been promised to us through Scripture.
Yes.
We live life abundantly.
Right.
Now, we can, if we just don't shop from them, we can boycott if we wanted to.
Okay.
Because if we was to not go into their stores, even if we did it for 30 days, 60 daes, they would pack them and go home.
I would agree.
Wow, say that one more time, Mrs. White.
Now, what my experience has been is this. I had a very good close friend that was a Korean.
Yes.
So I asked them if I came to his community and opened my store. They told me that quietly they would not shop in my store. So I asked him why. He said that I didn't understand their language, their community. So I said, well, then how in the, I ain't gonna tell you what I said though, that you could cook chitlin, rice, and greens for my culture, but I don't understand your culture. That just really bothered me.
I can understand that. Let's look at, I want to ease these excerpts in. One more, go at it. We have two more.
Later, I learned that what we're seeing now, the Korean domination of the black hair industry, had its start back in the early 60s with the help of both the Korean government and the United States government. This is Chosun, one of the most respected newspapers in South Korea. And it's inside the archives of this newspaper that I discovered a document from 1965 in which the wig manufacturers in Korea convinced the Korean government to ban the export of raw hair, making it impossible for anyone to manufacture wigs from the highly desirable Korean hair population, except for the Korean manufacturers themselves. And 6 months after the Korean ban on the export of hair, the United States government banned the import of any wig that contained hair from China. This ban on Chinese wigs virtually locked in the wig business for these South Korean merchants. So it seems that what we're seeing today, the Korean domination of the black hair industry, had its start with the help of both the Korean and the United States government almost 40 years ago.
If you blow the whistle on what's going on, just like we were discussing now, and inform people, they'll be surprised and delighted too.
Well, I think people are informed, but I mean, black people as a whole, they just don't have much unity as Koreans do, or any other race. It just doesn't have much unity. As a whole, we don't stick together.
Well, you know, this is a new millennium, and people, if they look at the past, and perhaps they can deduce from that they can change the future based on the past.
They can, but the young people have to be enlightened. The black dollar needs to be spent with your black people as much as possible.
Okay, so we can see that dialogue is taking place even on a salon level about what's needed. So it's not like the discussion isn't taking place. But again, what are your goals for 2015 as far as the regional LA market goes, as far as distribution goes? You know, what are you going to do to communicate to the professional hairstylists? What are you going to do to get your point across to the local distributors?
Because we're going to join hands with you, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, we're going to take the platform that you're organizing right here.
Yeah, that's
we're going to go across the country with you.
Okay.
We're going to ride that wagon, but we're going to have our own plan too.
There you go. You're supposed to. We operate autonomously.
No, I mean, I'm in agreement, Walt, with you, but I got my other eye open too.
I have no problem with that. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to assess the matter and make a decision on behalf of your company. You know, that's what it's all about. Now, I have some individual shots that I want to make sure we include in this. Are you able to pull those up? Mm-hmm. Okay. The first one that I want is this one right here, if you can get that one. And all of you are familiar with this particular brand here.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it?
Wow. This is the standard, as far as I'm concerned, for distribution locally. When you walk into the stores, you're going to see this line. You have it up there. So
which line is it?
Sorry, Jack.
You know, I'm not mentioning names. All I'm talking about is what I see there. When I walk in the stores, they have full distribution. So that's one standard. Now let's look at let's do a clip of the secret styling.
Are we on one? Or you just shoot it?
Yeah. No, we're talking. It's live. So, okay, this is
This is mine.
Your line right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have more products than what you see right here?
Oh, man, shoot. Yeah.
Okay, so we're missing the mark as far as when you compare it to the other brand, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, can you pull my brand up there? Yeah.
Well, as you're putting those brands up,
yeah.
You're taking a retail mentality.
That's part of it. Go ahead.
But no, all I'm saying is, here again, your promo communication to that buyer is going to be important. When I like your idea,
yes.
Group,
put it up.
Going in as a group, yes. But you got to have the plan of attack. That okay, fine, this is what's going to come along with it. Okay. The advertising, marketing,
I
the dollars,
agree with you, Frank, and
yes.
The plan is already in place.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in place. You know, it's just a matter of executing. And so, like I said, going back to ABBA, I used to sit in that meeting and we had attorneys there, we had millionaires there, we had all of the ingredients to lock down the market. And all I saw was a bunch of men having a good time, social clubbing.
Well, you know, I don't want to say anything negative in regard to that.
That's not being negative. That's just a statement.
I understand, but there was a beginning.
Yes.
You know, because there had not been an organization like that. It was over $500 million worth of people in that room.
Right.
And I sat there.
Yes.
So it was a first.
Yes.
I'm not saying, but they tried to approach it from their perspective. But this is a new day.
Okay.
And what you're doing right
Put that
now is.
disclaimer on? Yes, I'm listening, Frank. Keep
okay,
going.
no, okay. No. And what you're doing is bringing around a present. There's a whole different consciousness now. Look at what's going on TV every day. And I think, God has an interesting way of approaching and communicating to us, and sometimes we don't see it.
Yes.
Just like the Montgomery boycott.
Yes.
So I think maybe where we are today is bringing a whole different consciousness to the table, where what we're talking about could happen a little bit more effectively.
Well, it very well could be the case. I'm not one in a position to say that's not the case.
Well, it will be effective if it's carried out.
Okay. I would like to thank all of you for being a part of this discussion. It was lively. We got it going again at chemistry-wise. I felt real good about that last session we had, but this turned out to be very nice too. So let's pat ourselves on the back, give ourselves a clap. You got that clap too? All right. And what we're going to do is make sure we get a group shot, because I would like to put an article based on what we had up front in the LA Sentinel if no one is opposed to it. I got your names and everything.
How about Essence and Ebony?
Now that's when you talk about the loan money. I'm going to talk to the loan money people. Got some to my left, I understand. Are we good? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for being patient.
The views and comments expressed on the following radio program by its hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of RMCOnAir.com or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.